What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Daily Football Zone. It's Monday, April 10th, which means I got another mock draft for you. I noticed it on my second mock draft video that released last Monday. I plan on putting out a new mock draft every Monday until draft week. If not, maybe Tuesday. It depends. It really depends on my schedule and when I can get a video made. But for sure, every week heading into the April 27th draft for the first round. Again, this one's not going to be a trade draft. Obviously, I'm just going to do it based off what I think, not what I think is going to happen, but based off what I think should be their needs and what they should target. Because again, I know I mentioned on the last video, it's hard to predict a first round. Obviously, it's hard to predict what's going to happen when you got so many trades going on and players getting involved as well, getting traded. We saw that twice last year with Hollywood Brown and AJ Brown. So it's an exciting time, especially come draft night. Waiting to see who. Obviously, Carolina's on the clock this year. Exciting to see who they select with the first pick. It's always a fun time, and I always enjoy it. I enjoy it not just based off my team. Obviously, it's exciting that I'm a Carolina Panther fan. I got the first overall pick, but I'm excited just in general for every team to seeing what they do. Like even the next next year, like we're not gonna have a first round pick, but I'm still gonna be excited for the draft. Either way, I'm excited to see just what teams as a whole, NFL as a whole, like it's an exciting time for every team, even if I'm not a fan of them. Just interesting to see what teams do and what they decide to target at what spot, and it's always a fun time come spring when it starts getting hot out, and especially I'm in San Diego, California. It's been kind of a cold winter, a lot of rain, and now it's finally starting to get sunny. You can see my screen's more clear now, not as dark in the background. Also recording earlier in the day, and daylight savings helps with that. So it's a good time of year though. But we got I got my third mock draft for you guys, so I'm gonna pop up that PFF mock draft simulator. And it's not that I'm not doing trades because I don't want to pay for the PFF's service. I can always use a different mock simulator to do trades. I just want to keep it simple. I might do one of these. I think for my last mock, I'm gonna make that as predictive as possible, and of course I'm gonna make trades with that then. But as of right now, just doing it based off I was the GM on what I think they should do, obviously. But obviously I'm not any GM, so they're not going off what I think. But just to put out content, get perspective. I do the same thing. I'll listen to randoms and see what they have to say. Not I don't want to say randoms, but other people that do podcasts and mock drafts. I listen to their input, hear what they have to say, and it's like, oh, that's a good reason, or a valid statement you made. Obviously, we all got different opinions and different viewpoints, but I'm not one to judge if someone thinks this person's going there or they're going to do this or they shouldn't do this. Like, at the end of the day, we're all just putting out content for people to listen to, for people to relate, for people to interact, all that good stuff. So yeah, I'll start it off. I'm not gonna ramble and take up too much of your time. I know my second mock draft, the video took like an hour for me to do this, so I'm trying to speed it up this time. If you want to look at my first mock, it's available on Instagram. There's no video made for it, but you can check that out on Daily Football Zone, at Daily Football Zone on Instagram, at Daily FZ on Twitter. Those are our socials. Feel free to follow us on there. More giveaways coming up. We recently did a giveaway not that long ago. Expect another one coming soon. Feel free to interact with all our posts on there. We appreciate it. All the co-hosts, all the Daily Football Zone family, we all appreciate it. But yeah, I'm gonna get straight into the mock. And this is where I wish I had a dual monitor because I'm doing it by tab because I'm on my laptop. I wish I need to get another screen so I can see this, me recording and see the mock draft tab, but I'm just gonna have to look at the mock draft tab. So last time I went back onto the StreamYard and saw that it was at hours. Like shit, I didn't even realize it was that freaking long. Like I'm already approaching 5 minutes right now. It doesn't even feel that long. But yeah, not trying to I'm hoping to get this done in 30 minutes, but we'll see. But yeah, we'll start it off. Carolina is on the clock.
The Carolina Panthers are on the clock.
And the pick is in, obviously. Just wanted to throw those in there. But yeah, with the first pick, I went Bryce Young, I believe, with my second one. I'm doing it again. I just think it's gonna be Bryce Young. Something just tells me everyone thinks it's CJ. Like 2 weeks ago, CJ Stroud. Reports came out last week that it's Anthony Richardson. But I think it's gonna be Bryce Young. That's kind of what I would do if I was the GM, and that's the quarterback I would take. And then it can go either way though. It could be CJ Stroud. I don't think it's gonna be Anthony Richardson. It got to be Young or Stroud. And me as a Panther fan, I'm cool with either or. But me, if I'm the GM, I'm saying Bryce Young. And to go into Houston, that's where CJ Stroud lands. I don't think they go Anthony Richardson. Obviously, I still feel like those are going to be the two top guys. You can have the media. Me personally, the media just posts stuff for hype, just to have content put out, to stir conversation, to to get clicks. Like, and that's not to mean they're wrong either, because there's times where obviously the media, when they put out rumors, it's correct, but sometimes it ain't correct. And obviously they're doing that to bring the excitement to the draft and make you wonder, like, oh, are they really gonna do this? Are they really gonna do that? Like, and if they really got valid sources, okay, cool. But I'm not gonna buy into it maybe until closer to the draft. Not where we at, like 17 days now until the draft. If it was like 5 days away, okay, maybe they got an actual valid source. But like the Panthers, the Texans, both those guys can have a quarterback in mind today and change their mind come the day before the draft. Like, I'm not buying into any rumors right now until it gets closer. Like, that's my opinion. That's just what I think. But we'll see. I don't got sources like that. So I can't blame them. I also can't blame the media outlets doing it, because if they do hear that, that's what they heard then, but it changes. So I'm not, me as a one that's talking on it. Obviously, I have our own podcast talking about it. I don't believe in unless I had a valid source to confirm that. And things change within 17 days. Things can change. But yeah, those are the first two though. I got Bryce Young to Carolina, Houston getting CJ Stroud. But we can go into pick number 3. That's where Arizona is on the clock. That could be another trade option. I think I saw a report today saying that teams have called Arizona about the number 3 pick. We'll see if that actually happens. But with me having them stay and no trades, I'm having them go with Anderson Jr. I mean, they can go Jalen Carter, but I feel like they'll probably go Will Anderson instead. This, if they have a concern about Jalen Carter's off the field issues, they already have off the field. They already have issues with their owner, and I know there was something that came out last week about scandals going on with what was his name, Bill Bidwell or whatever his name is, the Cardinals owner. So I mean, I'm sure they want to not take a gamble on one of their players, I guess, having off the field issues. So and again, maybe they don't. Maybe they go Jalen Carter. I won't blame him. He's a freak on the field, but teams, I'm sure, shy away. Tend to not want to draft players with character concerns and off the field issues. So it wouldn't surprise me if they went with Will Anderson. So that's where, and I know I've had. I think that was the top 3 I had in my last one. I'm sorry if I can't remember exactly every pick I made then too, but I probably should have that on my phone so I could see what I did pick them. But it's fine, whatever. I'm starting new at this. But we can go into number 4, Indianapolis Colts. I'm sure this was probably the same too. I probably had Anthony Richardson going there. I could see them going there. They need a quarterback. I don't think Will Levis is going to be the guy. Obviously, he's kind of taking a dip when it comes to being selected. Some people think he can go in the teens now. Like, Tennessee is a team that isn't probably interested. Reports that they're moving on from Malik Willis already, thinking that he's not going to be the franchise guy. And, obviously he didn't look like it last year. So maybe they take maybe they take Will Levis. We'll see as I get down to pick 11, and we'll see when it comes to the draft. But, the top 4 pretty much been the same. It might change as we get closer to the draft, of course, again. But that's who I have. At number 5, Seattle. I have them going Jalen Carter. I can see him, again, the talent's there. I think Seattle is the type of team that could take a risk on him. You got Draymond Jones in free agency, pair them 2 in the inside. I mean, they can still use some edge rushers, but, I think they can, they put those 2 in the inside of that defensive line. I'm sure, double teaming those guys allow the linebackers and, blitz in and then get to the quarterback. Fill them gaps. I feel like Jalen Carter, that'd be a good move by Seattle. Just got to obviously be concerned with off the field issues. But now we got Detroit, and I have them going Tyree Wilson. You got Aiden Hutchinson last season. James Houston had a good year, but I feel like, again, you can never use have enough edge rushers, you always rotate them guys in. You have Tyree Wilson there staying at 6. I had him mocked at 5 to Seattle my last mock, but you have Tyree Wilson there. I feel like Dan Campbell would be stoked. They've been beefing up that defense, bringing in guys in free agency, looking like the NFC North favorite going into next year. I feel like getting a guy like Tyree Wilson would definitely help on the defensive side of the ball. And now we got the Las Vegas Raiders at 7. Interesting pick. Do they go Will Levis? You sign Jimmy Garoppolo. You want to bring Will Levis and have Garoppolo as that bridge guy? That could be a possibility. Obviously, they can use cornerback. And that's where I went. I didn't go Devin Witherspoon though. I went Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon. Obviously, that cornerback room is not that great when you have Nate Hobbs at your cornerback 1, which he's more of a nickel guy. I'd be more comfortable having him at the nickel than him being your number 1 corner. And then they got like Brandon Facyson from the Colts, Duke Shelley from Minnesota. They got to address the cornerback position right there, and I feel like Christian Gonzalez is a talented guy that I feel like would fit the Raiders defense in my opinion. But now we can go into pick number 8, Atlanta. They can go corner as well. Obviously, I know I went over it last time. Casey Hayward's just getting older. You have AJ Terrell there. I feel like you can bring in somebody there, but I went Lucas Van Ness this time. They need a guy that can get after the quarterback. I know they addressed some needs on the defensive side of the ball in free agency, but bringing somebody like Lucas Van Ness, I feel like would be a very helpful to that defense and help the secondary as well. Of course, you have a good front 7 that helps the secondary. So bringing somebody like Lucas Van Ness, I feel like is obviously a need for Atlanta. But now we got the Chicago Bears on the clock at 9. I went Paris Johnson Jr. last time. I know I did. This time I'm going Peter Skoronski. Some people are high on him. Some people aren't as high. I feel like, you bring in Peter Skoronski, if it's the arm length, they said the same thing about Rashawn Slater coming out of Northwestern a couple years ago. They thought he had the short arms, and obviously he has played good for LA. Obviously he got hurt last year, but, before getting hurt, he's played, he's been solid at tackle for the Chargers. So I'm not really concerned about the arm length. If they do, they can push him on the inside. They can use help at guard as well. So even if you keep him at tackle, if you want to keep him at guard, either way, Chicago can move him around on that offensive line. Obviously, injuries happen every year. Teams have to shuffle players around on that line, and having a guy like Peter Skoronski, I feel like they can do that. So I went Peter Skoronski at 9. But now at 10, we got the Eagles on the clock, and I'm going. I feel like they can go. They're gonna go edge rusher. They can go edge rusher. I mean, you got Hassan Reddick there, but a lot of the guys on that defensive line are getting older. Reddick himself's getting older. Brandon Graham's getting older. Fletcher Cox on the inside is getting older. But you got Jordan Davis last year, and you lost Travon Hargrave though. But so you're gonna see more out of Davis this year. But I feel like they can still bring in another guy. Again, you can always use enough more than enough. There's you always use a lot of edge rushers to rotate on that defensive line, bringing in the fresh guys and situational downs. I feel like it's a big piece of a defense. So I had them going Myles Murphy. I think I did Nolan Smith last time, but I feel like Myles Murphy might this rise. I've seen a couple mocks that he's all some people have him going around this range too. So I feel like they'll go Myles Murphy here. I think I did Nolan Smith last time. If not, I don't remember, but I feel like Myles Murphy can be a guy that Philadelphia targets with the 10th overall pick. Now at 11, I'm keeping it Will Levis again. Obviously, if the rumors are true about them moving on from Malik Willis as their franchise guy, obviously you drafted him in the 3rd round. Did you really believe he was going to be the franchise guy, or you felt like you needed a guy there in case Tannehill got hurt, which Malik Willis did have to fill in at times. So, and then didn't look so great. So maybe I feel like Will Levis is going to be the guy, and Ryan Tannehill's only getting older. Obviously, he's been getting hurt. Maybe Will Levis is the QB2. Maybe Malik Willis gets traded or sits number 3 if they decide to keep 3 quarterbacks on the depth chart. That could be a possibility, but I have Will Levis going to the Tennessee Titans. I know I didn't recap the previous 10 picks. I'm going to go over that right now. But Bryce Young, number 1 to Carolina. At 2, Houston goes C.J. Stroud. With the 3rd overall pick, the Cardinals go Will Anderson Jr. At 4, Anthony Richardson to the Colts. At 5, Jalen Carter to the Seattle Seahawks. Pick number 6, Tyree Wilson to the Detroit Lions. At 7, he had the Las Vegas Raiders going cornerback Christian Gonzalez. With the 8th pick, Lucas Van Ness to the Atlanta Falcons. At pick number 9, Peter Skoronski to the Chicago Bears. Pick 10, Miles Murphy to the Eagles, and then just recently selected Will Levis to the Tennessee Titans at 11. Now we got the Houston Texans back on the clock with their 2nd pick of the 1st round. And with this pick, I had them going Nolan Smith. They can use some more edge presence. D'Amico Ryan's defensive-minded guy. I'm sure he'd be stoked. He didn't get to get Will Anderson or any of those top defensive linemen in the top. At 2, he didn't get any of the top 5, 10 guys. So getting Nolan Smith at 12, I'm sure he'd be ecstatic to have him. So I see that being a Houston pick right there. But now we got the Jets on the clock at 13. Obviously, they need offensive tackle. Mekhi Becton hasn't been it. Supposedly, he's lost weight, but he hasn't been able to stay on the field the past 2 years. And then his rookie year was up and down. So he didn't play a full season then either. So at this pick, I got them going Paris Johnson Jr. I feel like the best tackle on the board. I feel like the Jets will obviously if they end up getting Aaron Rodgers, which I'm sure is going to happen eventually. They want to protect him. Aaron Rodgers is only getting older as well. You need to be able to make sure he stays healthy and be able to protect him. So Paris Johnson Jr. at 13 to the Jets. With the 14th pick, New England, their rival, AFC East rival. I have the New England Patriots also going offensive tackle. And have them going Broderick Jones out of Georgia. They can obviously use an offensive tackle. They signed Riley Reef, who's 34 years old. They have Trent Brown at left tackle, according to their depth chart. He's only getting older as well. So I see them bringing in Broderick Jones. If he has to sit behind those guys for however long, getting Riley Reef getting older, he might not even play a full year. He might give Broderick Jones an opportunity to play, or he might just beat him in camp and start right away. But I feel like getting a tackle for the future is a big need. Getting him on a rookie contract before you got to pay out the ass for a top tackle in free agency. Just get a guy in free agency and pay him not free agency. Get a guy in the draft and pay him the rookie contract, and you have him at least for 5 years. If he pans out, you get him on the 5th-year contract and have him for 5 years before having to pay a tackle top dollar. So I can see that if it's Mac Jones, their quarterback, or there's rumors that they're shopping him, whoever it is going to be the quarterback for the next couple of years, would be happy to get a guy like Broderick Jones to protect them. So now we got the Green Bay Packers on the clock, and I'm sticking with it. I think they go Michael Mayer. I feel like he just looks like a Green Bay Packer. He just feels like a Green Bay Packer. They need tight end. I don't think they need they're not going to go receiver. They never go receiver in the 1st round, so they're going to go tight end. And obviously they lost Robert Tonyan. I think was it DeGuria? How I say his last name? It's the only tight end on their roster I can think of. I can't remember his name, but it starts with a D, his last name. But yeah, he's not tight end one material. I see. Obviously he's not. I can't even think of his name. So obviously I feel like tight end's a big need for Green Bay, and Michael Mayer is on the clock, is on the board right there as they're on the clock. So I got Michael Mayer going to the Green Bay Packers. To recap the previous 5 picks, though, Will Levis was at 11 with the Titans. At 12, Houston went Nolan Smith. At 13, the Jets went Paris Johnson Jr. At 14, another tackle off the board, with Patriots selecting Broderick Jones. And at 15, Michael Mayer to the Green Bay Packers. So now we got the Washington Commanders on the clock. Maybe they go Cyrus Torrance right here. They can use a guard to protect if it's Sam Howell, or Jacoby Brissett, whoever's going to start for this team, or if they maybe they trade up and actually get a guy instead of picking at 16. We'll see what happens. But with this pick, I got them going. Devin Witherspoon's on the board still at 16. I feel like they can help that secondary. You got to play the Eagles and the Cowboys, who just added Brandon Cooks too, and then you got the Giants. Like, they need to get a lot of help in that secondary with the the receivers that they got on those other teams. So yeah, and you got Devin Witherspoon sitting there at 16. I feel like that can be a target for Washington. And then pick 17. I know it'll be a bummer if it doesn't happen, and it might not happen. But I still got Joey Porter going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It just seems right. They can use a corner. You lost Cam Sutton. Again, they play in a good division. When Bengals have 3 good receivers, the Browns, they got good receivers too. And then Pittsburgh. Oh, I can't think of the other team. The Ravens. The Ravens just signed Odell Beckham. We'll see how he pans out in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson stays now. We'll see. Obviously helping that secondary is going to be a key factor, especially if Mike Tomlin wants to keep having winning seasons in his coaching career, never having a losing season as the Steelers head coach. So if he wants to win at least 9 games, he got to get some help in that secondary. And Joey Porter Jr. having his dad playing a lot of years for the Steelers, I can see that being a possibility. I'm sure he has a connection set front office and give him a phone call on that night, be like, hey, you're on the clock, you better pick up my son. But we'll see. But now the Detroit Lions are back on the clock, though. We gave them Tyree Wilson at 6 right there. Now I got them. You might not want to play against this defense, because I got them going Kalijah Kancey defensive line. So they're beefing up their defensive line with their first 2 picks with Tyree Wilson, Aiden Hutchinson. Now you got not Jalen Carter, Kalijah Kancey on that D line. I feel like that'd be a good move for Detroit. Obviously it's going to help that secondary that's already looking like it's going to be pretty decent. Lions are making, I feel like those are really good moves by Detroit if they do end up getting those 2 guys to get after the quarterback when you already have Aiden Hutchinson there. James Houston had a good year for being a late round pick. I know Romeo Okwara is still there. I know there's another edge there, but again, he can always rotate them guys. And then Kalijah Kancey, they can use defensive tackle, obviously. I think Aleem McNeil is like the only one I can think of that's there, and he's put Kalijah Kancey there. That'd be a good move by Detroit if that happens to fall their way. But now we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock, and I'm sticking to what I did last time, and it's gonna be Darnell Wright still. You got Tristan Wirfs there, but you released Donovan Smith. I feel like it's Baker Mayfield, your guy, or Kyle Trask. Give him some linemen, protect them, don't put them under pressure as much, and getting Darnell right there at 19 seems like the choice for me. If I was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But now the Seahawks are on the clock, and I'm going to give them Osiris Torrance. They went Jalen Carter in the first round. I mean, not in the first round, but their first pick at 5, which was the first round. But at 5 and then at 20, they're going to fix that interior of the offensive line. They got good draft picks in Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas to fill the tackle positions last year. Now you can, obviously fill in the inside with Osiris Torrance at 20. You got Geno Smith there for at least another 3 years. Kemp Walker looks like the real deal at running back. Get them some guys to protect them. I think they can go wide receiver still. I think they can get another guy. They can get another guy in that receiver room, but I feel like maybe they think Eskridge is, still has a future for them. So maybe they don't go receiver right here. Also, going to the Charger pick. Actually, no, I'll talk about it during the Chargers pick. But I feel like they can fix the interior of the offensive line and definitely help their offense out. But to go over to the last 5 picks, Devin Witherspoon to the Washington Commanders, Joey Porter Jr. playing for his dad's team, now his team at 17. 18, Kalijah Kancey to the Detroit Lions. 19, Darnell Wright to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then at 20, Osiris Torrance to the Seattle Seahawks. Now at 21, I want to talk about receivers because there's a report that came out yesterday saying that, only one receiver, according to rumors, there's only one receiver that has a first round grade, supposedly, and that was Jackson Smith-Njigba. Obviously, we'll see if that's true. But I kind of did this draft based off that rumor. I kind of did, but not really. But, I'm making a surprise pick right here. It's going to be the same pick that I've been mocking him. I have Jordan Addison being the first receiver taken off the board because I just feel like he is going to be a dang Los Angeles Charger. I'll be bummed out if he's not, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's not, obviously. But I just been mocking him, and I just been predicting that all off season. So I have Jordan Addison going there. I don't know. He just seems like a Charger. I feel like he's just gonna stay in Southern California after transferring from Pittsburgh to USC, and he's gonna stay local in LA and play for the Chargers. That's just I just have that feeling, but we'll see if that actually pans out. But also, just the biggest surprise too, if Jordan Addison ended up being the first receiver off the board and not JSN. I feel like that could be also a shocker, and I feel like in my mock draft, I feel like he's a Charger, and I have him going to the Chargers. But now we got the Baltimore Ravens on the clock. Obviously, they can use receiver, but they just signed Odell Beckham Jr. You got Rashad Bateman a couple years ago. You got Devin Duvernay. You signed Nelson Aguilar. So I feel like they're not going to go receiver at 22. Back cornerback. I feel like they need cornerbacks, and Deonte Banks is sitting there at 22. I feel like they go Deonte Banks. Just that's what I would choose if I was the Ravens. You can again, just like I was speaking on with the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're going up against teams with good receivers, and you need Marlon Humphrey there, and then who else? Brandon Stephens, I think, was listed as their other cornerback on their depth chart according to ESPN.com. You need to bring another cornerback in there when you got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd twice a year, Amari Cooper, and they've got Elijah Moore, and they have Donovan Peoples-Jones. Like you gotta bring another corner in, and then even the Steelers got some decent receivers as well with George Pickens and Deontay Johnson and those guys. So Deonte Banks has to be the choice right there at 22. But now we got the Minnesota Vikings on the clock at 23. I think I went Zay Flowers with this pick with my last mock. But they can use receiver. Obviously, Adam Thielen's not there. You got KJ Osborne. You don't really have much after that. And if you don't bring in no threats, they're just gonna double team Jettas for the most part. I don't know why I call him Jettas. Justin Jefferson. I mean, that's his nickname, I guess, but I don't like really calling people by their nicknames. So Justin Jefferson, he's gonna get double teamed, and he's obviously gonna be the guy that everyone's gonna make sure is covered. You need to bring in another threat to help that. So but I didn't have him go receiver this time. I had him actually going Brian Branch. He's available at 23. They need a safety alongside Harrison Smith, and Harrison Smith himself is getting older by the day. So I feel like if Brian Branch is there, I feel like that would help their secondary. I know they just they signed Andrew Booth last year in the first round, and you bring in Byron Murphy to be the other corner. I feel like they can still use cornerback, but I feel like when you have Brian Branch there and in your safety position, you can use another guy. I think Cameron Bynum's the other safety. They decided to stick, keep him there. Harrison Smith's getting older. You got Brian Branch there. Eventually, you're gonna need to replace him or someone to play alongside him for the time being. So, I made that decision that Brian Branch is gonna be a Minnesota Viking. But now we got the Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock, and I got them going Steve Avila out of TCU. They can obviously Trevor Lawrence to give him some protection. You need some protection on the inside of that offensive line. Steve Avila, he's I'd say the next best guard on the board. I feel like that's where they go right there. They beef up the offensive line. They give Trevor Lawrence some help. Travis Etienne going in his third year, his second actual playing year though, due to suffering injury in his rookie year. So we didn't get to see him at all until last year. So going into next season, obviously you want to help that offensive line, see more out of both of those guys from Clemson. So Steve Avila is the pick at 24. At 25, this is where I go a next receiver, and Jackson Smith-Njigba it is. I feel like they might not do receiver just due to the fact that you re-signed Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard, and then you still got Isaiah Hodgins who did good, and then you trade for Darren Waller. It wouldn't surprise me if they believed in all those guys to be the guys at receiver and tight end. Obviously Darren Waller, yes, but all the other receivers. And then you get Wan'Dale Robinson back. It surprised me if they didn't go receiver, but I feel like if I had Brian Branch fall there, I feel like he would have been the guy to pair with Xavier McKinney in the back and on the secondary. But he didn't land there. So I feel like they still might go receiver, even though I feel like they won't if say someone like Brian Branch is there, or they maybe they I don't think their needs are center and linebacker. Obviously, none are going in the first round. So going based off PFF's needs for them, I guess I'll give them receiver. I'll give them Jackson Smith and Jigba. Get your future, get your guy Daniel Jones, who you just signed to a big contract. Get him some more talent at the receiving position. But now we got the Dallas Cowboys on the clock, and I went Bijan Robinson last time, but I don't think he's gonna be the one selected there. This time, I believe it will be Dalton Kincaid. They can use tight end. You don't got Dalton Schultz there anymore. That's a big hole for them. And you got Dalton Kincaid sitting there at 26. He's coming off the back injuries, but other than the back injury, like you've seen the potential. You've seen his play. Like he was a stud at Utah for the past 2 years, and you're gonna get a good tight end for Dak Prescott at 26. Now we got 27, and we got the Buffalo Bills on the clock, and they drafted James Cook last year. You sign Damian Harris, but I know I got them still going by Bijan Robinson. I'm sure everyone would love to see Robinson in that offense with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. If he's there at 27, I can see that possibly being a possibility. So Bijan Robinson to the Buffalo Bills. But now at 28, you got the Cincinnati Bengals on the clock. They can go tight end too. I don't think maybe Darnell Washington, if they believe he's first round talent. I guess we'll see. Or Sam Laporta or any of the other guys there, Luke Musgrave, they could maybe get one of those guys, or maybe trade up in the second round and get one of the tight ends. But this pick, I got them going defensive lineman, going Brian Bresee out of Clemson. Obviously it's a need for them, and to help that defense, bring in Brian Bresee to be that guy. But with the 29th pick, we got a couple more picks left in this mock. I totally forgot to recap the picks after the Giants, but I had O'Cyrus Torrence to the Seattle Seahawks. 21, I had Jordan Addison being the first receiver off the board. We'll see if that actually happens, but I've been mocking him to the Chargers from day one, and supposedly to that rumor, a lot of teams aren't high on all the receivers, and they only have JSN as the only first round grade, but we'll see. But Deonte Banks at 22 to the Ravens, Brian Branch to the Vikings at 23, Steve Avila to the Jaguars at 24, Jackson Smith and Jigba is now off the clock for the Giants at 25. He's off the board. Dalton Kincaid going to the Dallas Cowboys at 26, 27, Bijan Robinson to the Buffalo Bills, 28, Brian Bresee to the Bengals, and now we're up to date with the New Orleans Saints, and I had them actually going receiver as well with Quentin Johnson. It could be Zay Flowers. I know Zay Flowers has rose and mocks and position rankings, but now I feel like they'll go Quentin Johnson there. Get Derek Carr, another big playmaker. Even though Michael Thomas, they re-signed him, but he's been inconsistent and not healthy. You get some other guys there, but Quentin Johnson, I feel like he's on the board. They might just go receiver to get Derek Carr some more help on offense. So Quentin Johnson it is at 29. At 30, this is where I decided to go another receiver, and I have Zay Flowers going to the Philadelphia Eagles. You got AJ Brown there, you got Devontae Smith there, bring in another speedster, and Zay Flowers. He may be smaller, but you throw him on the inside, throw him in the slot. He's gonna be making plays with Jalen Hurts. So and you have all those other receivers there that can make plays as well. So Zay Flowers is my choice at 30 because I had them going edge, Miles Murphy at 10. But now we got the final pick of my 3.0 mock draft. And I say they're gonna go defensive line, and they're gonna get Mozzie Smith to pair with Chris Jones, and I feel like that can help the Chiefs defense. And that's pretty much it. So to recap my mock draft 3.0 first round, I had the Carolina Panthers. I was about to say Chicago because they had it under the one. Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young out of Alabama. 2, the Texans select C.J. Stroud. With the 3rd pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Will Anderson Jr. With the 4th pick, the Colts select Anthony Richardson. With the 5th pick, Jalen Carter going to the Seattle Seahawks. With the 6th overall pick, the Lions get Tyree Wilson. With the 7th pick, Raiders go Christian Gonzalez. With the 8th pick, the Falcons go Lucas Van Ness. At 9, Chicago goes Peter Skoronski. With pick 11, Miles Murphy to the Eagles. With the 11th pick, Will Levis to the Tennessee Titans. With the 12th pick, Nolan Smith going to D'Amico Ryans' defense and the Houston Texans. 13, the Jets go Paris Johnson Jr. With the 14th pick, Broderick Jones to the Patriots. With the 15th pick, Michael Mayer to the Packers. This seems right. 16, Devin Witherspoon to the Commanders. And then 17, Joey Porter, going back to Pittsburgh to play for his dad's team, the Steelers. 18, Lions beef up their defensive line some more and go Kalijah Kancey. With the 19th pick, the Buccaneers go Darnell Wright. 20, Seahawks go Cyrus Torrance. At 21, Chargers make a big shocker and get Jordan Addison as the first receiver off the board. 22, Baltimore Ravens go Deontay Banks. 23, Brian Branch to the Minnesota Vikings. 24, Steve Avila to the Jaguars. 25, Giants get Jackson Smith and Jigba. 26, Dalton Kincaid to the Dallas Cowboys. 27, Bijan Robinson going on that star-studded offense in Buffalo. 28, Brian Bresee to the Cincinnati Bengals. At 29, Derek Carr gets another target, and Quentin Johnston for the Saints. At 30, Jalen Hurts also gets another target with Zay Flowers for the Eagles. And at 31, Mozzie Smith is going to the Kansas City Chiefs to pair with Chris Jones on that defense and going to a Super Bowl winning team. So, I got this one, a lot faster compared to my first one. My second one, that was an hour. I'm at 37 mark right now. So, pretty much, that's my third mock draft. Again, you can expect one every week until the draft. It's almost that time. I'm stoked for that. It's always a great time of year. Excited to see what actually happens. For everyone that's going to tune in, I appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments, who you think ends up where, or, if you agree with me with a certain pick, let me know in the comments. Give me feedback. Let me know what you would have done instead. Obviously don't got to be rude about it. If you want to be rude, whatever, man, it's cool. But if not, you want to be, civil and just think, I would have went here, whatever, and be nice about it, cool. But I can care less if you want to be a dick or not, man. That's the internet for you. But, that's my third mock draft for you guys, and I hope you all appreciate it. Feel free to comment, if enjoyed the content, subscribe, watch more of our videos. If you haven't seen, watch my mock draft before. I'm hoping to get a daily football zone mock draft up and going sometime soon. We got everyone's busy, so it's hard to get people on all the time to do the mock drafts. But we'll get another daily football zone mock draft. That would also be the 3.0. And hopefully maybe we could do a 2-rounder. Maybe I'll do a 2-rounder for my last mock draft, or at least my fourth one. We'll see. So this is my third one. I got 2 more left because this should be 5 by draft week. So, if you enjoy it, appreciate it. Again, follow us on social media, Daily Football Zone, and Instagram, Daily FC on Twitter. I know we have our link tree in the bios of those social medias, so you can check that out too. Appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next video.